So, gang, today we are talking 10, actually a lot more than 10, steps to better sleep. Um, every single person I talk to, okay, 99% of people I talk to have sleep issues, all right? We are not going to get into the science of sleep. We're not going to get into why you might have poor sleep. There's one slide on it. Sleep is very complicated. It's very tricky. It's very individualized for every person. But every single tip, tactic, trick, tool that I'm going to go over, we have used to very high successes on our members, with our members. So none of this stuff is bullshit. All this stuff works. All this stuff has worked. All this stuff has worked many, many times on many, many different people. All right. So 10 plus steps to better sleep. First of all, you cannot sleep if you are stressed out. I want you to remember that. You cannot sleep if you are stressed out. Long pause. Uncomfortable stare. Remember that. If you're a female, your sleep probably sucks. For whatever reason, males tend to have a little better sleep than females, except when it comes to sleep apnea, snoring. But I digress. There are lots of reasons why your sleep could be poor. Generally, it comes down to quality and or quantity. Quality would be poor problems staying asleep. Quantity would be problems getting to sleep. That's how I kind of think about it. We will not be talking about the many reasons why sleep could be disrupted. We are just going to fixate on some potential solutions we have found that work well with our members. Having said that, I will say sleep disruption can happen from, look at all these different things. This isn't even exhaustive. This is just like a quick list that I came up with. Not eating enough food, eating too close to bed / not eating close enough to bed. Really confusing on that one. Not eating enough carbs, timing of meals / carbs. Not eating enough protein. Stress too high, flip circadian rhythm, blood sugar drop, alcohol, marijuana, bedroom too loud or too bright, hormones, temperature, hydration, amino acid deficiency, melatonin deficiency, sleep apnea storing. This is just a quick list, but you get the idea. That's why sleep is very individualized for people in terms of like fixing it, improving it. There are some definitely general things that work with everybody, but at the end of the day, sleep is very personalized to fix and improve on. So let's get into it. So food subs. Up carbs to 150 grams, spread carbs out over 3 meals. This has to do with a blood sugar drop happening in the evening, or specifically while you're sleeping. And this also has to do with making sure insulin doesn't fall too low and cortisol gets too high. We don't want those things to happen. Because remember, you can't fall asleep when you're stressed. So eating more carbohydrates actually helps you relax a little bit more. Magnesium glycinate at 200 to 400 plus milligrams per bed. I have a sheet with all the stuff, links to all the stuff that I'm talking about. All right. 5-HTP at 100 to 200 milligrams before bed. Magnesium glycinate helps with relaxation, helps with blood sugar control, helps with muscle spasms. It's amazing. Every single person we work with takes it. It's like the first supplement that I want everybody to take. It's also, all these supplements are relatively expensive. 5-HTP. 5-HTP is 5-hydroxytryptophan. It is a precursor to serotonin. Notice how melatonin is not on this list. I do not like members, I don't like anybody to take melatonin in the grand scheme of things unless they absolutely positively have to. Because your body there's a lot of different reasons. One of them is your body produces melatonin naturally. Anything that your body produces endogenously, so internally produced, and you take exogenously, externally, you have a potential to reduce the production of your endogenous production. So if you're taking a bunch of melatonin exogenously, you do have a high potential to reduce your endogenous production of melatonin. Also, most melatonin that you get over the stores, like at the stores, Walmart, Amazon, whatever, the dose that they're giving you is like 100 times higher than what you would produce naturally. So sometimes people just don't have enough precursor of 5-HTP in order to make melatonin. So 5-HTP helps you make more serotonin, helps you make more melatonin. You do need to be careful if you're on any kind of antidepressants or mood medication. And as always, consult with your physician before you take any supplements. So that's 5-HTP, 100 to 200 milligrams before bed. L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid. It is actually in tea, and it helps you relax. I actually like to take it with my caffeine because it does help kind of mellow out my buzz a little bit. So L-theanine, 100 to 200 milligrams before bed. Sleep multiplier. This is really the only kind of like supplement aid that we use. It has a bunch of different things in it. We've used a bunch of different supplement aids, and this one just tends to be the best one that works for everybody. Adjust your meal timing. Again, a lot of this stuff is kind of like, it's kind of A or B, and sometimes it's A now, but B later, and then back to A, which is why sleep is so difficult to fix with people. So adjust your meal timing. Either 1 to 2 hours before bed or 3 to 4 hours before bed. So what is that? That's basically like, hey, I eat dinner at 6 and I go to bed at 10. All right, well, that's 4 hours. And you find yourself having sleep issues. So maybe instead of eating at 6 and going to bed at 10, you eat at 8 and go to bed at 10. Likewise, let's say you eat at 8 and you go to bed at 10, and you're having sleep issues, falling asleep, staying asleep, whatever, then you might want to try and push that earlier. This is very individualized. Adjust meal size. Either bigger meal with more carbs or smaller meal with same amount of carbs. A lot of times people just don't eat enough carbohydrates or they're not eating enough calories or they're not eating enough calories later in the day. This does cause a blood sugar drop in the evening, evening, early morning, typically between the hours of 11 and 4, midnight and 3, early morning, okay, usually like 1 to 3. We usually get the, hey, why do you think you wake up at 3 o'clock? I have no idea. Nothing wakes me up. I just immediately wake up. A lot of times that is a blood sugar gets too low, which elevates cortisol, elevates adrenaline. That wakes you up to go and find more food. And we're going to talk about that. Let's see here. Adjust meal size. Again, you might be eating a big meal, having problems falling asleep, in which case you have to eat a smaller meal. Might be the opposite. You're eating a small meal. Let's get a bigger meal. A lot of this stuff is trial and error. Adjust carbs to more fiber versus less fiber. So let's say you are eating 150 or 200 grams of carbs a day, but let's say your fiber intake is only 10 grams a day. Fiber intake's too low. Slow digesting protein plus fiber plus fat an hour before bed, about 150 to 300 calories. What does that look like? That might be like Greek yogurt. That might be an apple. And maybe a little tiny bit of peanut butter. That's what that could look like. Could be a couple pieces of string cheese. Could be a couple pieces of string cheese. Could be an apple. And maybe a little bit of peanut butter. Okay, again, that's what it looks like. All right, behavior changes. Wear an eye mask. I wear my eye mask every single night. Every single night I wear an eye mask to go to bed. Every single night. Earplugs. When we travel, earplugs. Wax or silicone earplugs work better than foam. Fan or white noise, and keep your room cool. Take a walk before bed. Hot bath with Epsom salt. If you are going to do the Epsom soak, you need to do a shitload of Epsom salt. Like pound, 2 pounds. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill your bathtub up. Right before you get into the bathtub, you're going to dump all that Epsom salt in, and you're going to use your feet. You're going to mix it up, make sure it's all dissolved. Then you get into the bath. Okay, do not put the salt in and then fill the water up. I want you to put that salt in right before you get into it and mix it all up. And the best, you'll know when you put enough in when not all of the Epsom salt dissolves. You've hit that saturation point in the water. Hot tub. Hot tub is a little bit different than sauna. Sauna might help, but it's the relaxing hotness of the immersion in the water. Okay, 1 hour before bed, no screen time, no alcohol. Don't do that. Stretch, yoga, meditate. 1 to 2 hours before bed. This would be really anything that helps you relax. Relax a little bit, right? I like to stretch. All right, 20-minute protocol. This is a protocol that we have used over 100 times on people. All right, so can't sleep. You can't fall back to sleep. We're going to try this. First of all, 20 minutes. So let's say you're laying in bed for 20 minutes. You look at the clock and it's 11 o'clock, and then you look at the clock again and it's 11:20. Get your ass out of bed. You're not falling asleep. You cannot force yourself to fall asleep, just like you cannot force yourself to relax. So you need to get up and go do something. And that thing needs to be somewhat relaxing. I mean, it needs to be 100% relaxing. So not the time where you want to watch TV, all right? Like read a book, do some light stretching, basically do something that does not excite you. So 20 minutes, can't go to sleep, get up, get out of your bedroom, go do something. You're going to do it for like 10 to 20 minutes or until you feel sleepy. Once you start to feel sleepy, go back to bed. Okay. Let's say you still can't fall asleep for another 20 minutes. Now you're going to get up and you go eat something. And that something is basically going to be in line with this thing right down here. 150 to 300 calories, slow digesting protein plus fiber plus fat an hour before bed. Except you're going to do that. You might do that at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. All right? You wait 10 to 20 minutes. Do you feel sleepy again? Great, go back to bed. And then you basically repeat this entire process all over again. All right? Eventually, you're going to figure out you are not able to sleep, or your sleep is really poor in the in the early morning, meaning you fall asleep but you wake back up and you can't go back to sleep, because that has to do with a blood sugar issue. All right, that's really what this helps solve. Okay, and finally, I want you to remember, you cannot fall asleep if you are stressed out.